In this video, we're going to be solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. In the last video, we derived the quadratic formula by completing the square. So we know from the last video that the quadratic formula is that x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So if this can be used to solve any quadratic equation, even if it has irrational answers, so like with square roots in them of imperfect squares, and which you can't do that by factoring. You can do it by solving quadratic equations by completing the square, or you can do it with the quadratic formula, but you can't do it by factoring. Now you might say, well, why don't we always use this method? And some people do, but factoring can actually be a lot quicker sometimes too than doing this. And this is a pretty involved formula. It's all pretty mechanical, but you can make a mistake along the way. So let me show you, my goal is to show you 3 different examples here. The first one is, let's say I have 2x squared plus x minus 15 is equal to 0. Again, I could solve that by factoring or by completing the square, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use this. I'm going to say x is equal to the opposite of b. Well, remember that this is like ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so b here happens to be 1 because it's just x by itself, or we could put a 1x there if we wanted to. So the opposite of 1, or negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared. Well, b squared is 1 squared minus 4. A is 2. And c is negative 15. And all of that is over 2a. And again, a is 2. So we're going to simplify this. We get x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus 4 times 15 would be, negative 4 times negative 15 would be 60 times 2 is 120, so plus 120. All over 2 times 2 here is 4. Or x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 121, which you may recognize as 11, all over 4. And so we have x is equal to negative 1 plus 11 over 4, or that's equal to 10/4, or it's equal, reducing that, to 5 halves. So one answer is 5 halves. But we also know that x is equal to negative 1 minus the square root of 121. So minus 11 over 4. Or x is equal to minus 12 over 4. Or x is equal to minus 3. So our 2 answers, which I'll just put down here, x is equal to negative 3 or 5 halves. Okay, so I ran out of space there, but that's okay. I'm going to do an other one, and this one happens to come out with irrational numbers, which is okay. I'm going to go, so this one's going to be x squared plus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. So I'm going to go x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And so that's going to be x is equal to, b is 2 here, the opposite of 2, or negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 2 squared, minus 4 times a is simply 1 here, and c is negative 2, all over 2a, again a is 1. So this is going to be equal to, x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 4, and then negative 4 times the negative 2 is a positive 8, so 4 plus 8 all over 2, or x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 12 over 2. I'm going to go over here a little bit with the square root of 2. And so the square root of 2 is equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. Square root of 4 is 2, so this is equal to 2 square root of 3. So we have x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 3 all over 2. We have a 2 common up here and 2 here, so we can cancel. And so x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 3. So x is either going to equal to negative 1 plus the square root of 3, or x is going to equal to negative 1 minus the square root of 3. And those are our two answers. And that's all the answer we can get. The square root of 3, we don't need to do anything more with. We could estimate it, but for our purposes here, we're not going to. So I'm going to say, I think I'll save that and just on the desktop for now. And now I'm going to get a new file. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more here. On this one, pay particular attention to this one here. It's x squared plus 2x plus 3. First of all, it looks pretty simple, huh? It looks like you could probably factor that. So if you want to take a try at it, go ahead and try to factor that. I'll tell you it can't be factored, though. So that might influence your decision. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So it's the opposite of b plus or minus. That's the nice thing about the quadratic formula. It always works. B squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Well, that's going to be equal to x is equal to the opposite of b, so it's minus 2 because b is 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's 2 again, squared, minus 4, a is 1 here again, times 1, and c is 3, all over 2a. So x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 12 all over, oh, a here was 1 by the way, all over 2 or x is equal to -2 plus or minus the square root of -8 over 2. We have a problem here, though, in that we can't take the square root of -8 and get a real answer. There is something called an imaginary numbers, but we don't deal with them in middle school or in Algebra 1. So since we can't do this, we simply say there is no solution, or there's no real solution. It's probably best, so we could put no real solution, because there's no real number that would fit that. Now, in the quadratic formula, this part of b squared minus 4ac is called the discriminant. Discriminant. Okay, sorry for the writing there. Now, if this b squared minus 4ac, or the discriminant, is less than 0, then there's going to be no real solution. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, there will be 2 solutions. And if b squared, the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, the discriminant, is equal to 0, there's only one solution. And the reason for that, if you think about it, remember that the discriminant is the part inside the square root here. And so we got 4ac. If this is equal to 0, then the square root of 0 is 0. If this is equal to 0, then you just have the opposite of b over 2a. And that's just going to generate one solution. We won't have a solution to the square root. We won't have a plus or minus there. So there will only be one solution if this b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. And I'm going to get rid of this and show you one other thing just very quickly. To sketch these on graphs, so this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, where we have two real solutions, there'll be something like this, where we have our parabola here, and it crosses the x-axis in two places, and where it crosses the x-axis are called the roots of the equation, and those are the solutions there. So that would be where we have two solutions. And in this one, sometimes we have a parabola that's either above the x-axis or below the x-axis going down, and in that case we will have no solution. And then sometimes we will have the parabola just cross, or not cross, but just touch the x-axis in one place, and that is where we will have one solution. And with that, I will end this video.